you, finishing up with our game picks for Week 6 of the NFL season. And of course, we are recording audio for Get Live Radio. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-2, 0-1 on the road, travel to Arizona to play the Cardinals, who are 2-3, 1-1 at home. Injuries for the visiting Buccaneers: Levante David, linebacker; Robert Ayers, defensive end; T.J. Ward, safety; Ali Marpet, center, are all questionable. Josh Robinson, a cornerback, is out. For the Arizona Cardinals, all listed as questionable: Carlos Dansby, linebacker; Patrick Peterson, cornerback; Robert Kendiche, defensive tackle; Corey Peters, defensive tackle; Jared Veldheer, offensive tackle. So you have a cornerback out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Josh Robinson. Arizona likes to throw the ball downfield. Larry Fitzgerald is still dangerous at this point in his career. Carson Palmer, high with the incompletions, almost 100. 91 to be exact, on 227 passes, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, so you know he likes to throw the ball a lot, maybe mistake-prone downfield, but certainly an injury to the secondary for Tampa Bay could allow Carson Palmer to have a big day in this one. Jameis Winston limiting his turnovers somewhat, still a little high with 3 interceptions. Has fumbled at times, so we'll keep an eye on that in this game. 60 incompletions for him on 154 passes, just shy of 1,200 yards. Remember, Tampa Bay has played one less game, however. Adrian Peterson coming in for Arizona. Let's see if he can establish some running that they've clearly lacked since David Johnson's been injured. Chris Johnson, not even 3 yards per carry. He's really struggling. Mike Evans could have a big day in this game, as he does most of the time for Tampa Bay receiving the ball. He will have Patrick Peterson on him, assuming Patrick Peterson, listed as questionable, is able to go. Tampa Bay is an interesting team. They came into this year with high expectations, have been up and down. You remember that Giants game they did not play very well in, and they won that game, so that's something to keep an eye on. Can they go on the road to Arizona and get a victory in this one? I don't think they will. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. I think they're going to attack downfield against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team without Josh Robinson, and already a fairly suspect secondary in that regard. Carson Palmer should have a big day, may turn the ball over, but he'll get it downfield and in the end zone enough to make big plays for the Cardinals to come away with a victory. I like 30-27, the Arizona Cardinals over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Los Angeles Rams are traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. The Rams are 2-0, 3-2 total, 2-0 on the road. The Jaguars are 3-2, 1-1 at home. Injuries for the visiting Rams: Mark Barron, linebacker, questionable. Troy Hill, cornerback, doubtful. LaMarcus Joyner, safety, questionable for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Lindor, a guard, is out. Aurelius Ben, a wide receiver, is questionable. Now, Los Angeles is traveling cross-country, but they are playing at 4 o'clock, so I don't expect much of an issue there. It's only with the 1 o'clock games for the West Coast teams that I wonder about. Jared Goff, good, was not good last week, however, against the Seattle Seahawks. Can he have a bounce-back game against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense that is quite stout and has a good secondary with Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Bowie? You look at the teams that Jared Goff has done well against, teams like San Francisco, teams like Indianapolis, teams like Dallas. They have poor secondaries, so in this game, he may struggle yet again. You went up against last week a good secondary in the Seattle Seahawks, and he had his problems. Blake Bortles, of course, up and down. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You never know what you're going to get with him. Leonard Fournette has now gone over the 4 yards per carry mark. He needs to be big as well, but Los Angeles has a good defensive line. This is a very interesting game for two teams that may not have expected to be in a playoff push this year. Maybe Los Angeles, Jacksonville, who knows, because they don't know what they're going to get with Blake Bortles. But a big game for both teams in this one. You never know with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to pick them in this one, and of course they'll probably lose. But they're a team that they're so inconsistent. You didn't think they would smash Pittsburgh the way they did last week, and they were able to. I expect them to get turnovers like they did against Ben Roethlisberger last week with that good secondary, and it's not going to be a good day for Jared Goff. I like 28-17, the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Chargers are playing the Oakland Raiders. The game is in Oakland. Los Angeles is 1-4, 1-1 on the road. Oakland is 2-3, 1-1 at home. Injuries first for the visiting Chargers. Jatavis Brown, linebacker, Brandon Oliver, running back, Mike Williams, wide receiver, are all questionable. For the Oakland Raiders, DeAndre Washington, running back, David Amerson, cornerback, questionable. Antonio Hamilton, cornerback, Markel Lee, linebacker, Jamizi Awaliye, fullback, out. And of course, Derek Carr, we'll have to see if he's able to go. I'm not expecting him to go. Who knows? Things may happen and you get surprised and he's able to go in this game, but I would expect E.J. Manuel to get the start again. Phillip Rivers throwing the ball a ton, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Derek Carr, of course, is the leading passer, but if he doesn't go and he's already missed the game, E.J. Manuel will be the guy. I don't know what Oakland's offense will have. They need to get the victory against the Los Angeles Chargers team. Got to find Marshawn Lynch. I'm seriously wondering if that was the best decision to make to come back. 57 carries, 194 yards. Not very good at all. I'd also like to see them get Amari Cooper more involved. Michael Crabtree is playing pretty well, but Amari Cooper is really the guy. Oakland has got to find their offense in this game. I know it's going to be difficult without Derek Carr. Some way, somehow, though, they have to beat the Los Angeles Chargers or this season will slip away from them. I expect them to get the victory. The Chargers are not a very good team. I expect some struggling offense for the Oakland Raiders. They do have some secondary injuries and defensive injuries. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on, but Oakland finds a way to get the victory in this one. I like 21-17, the Oakland Raiders. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 3-2, 2-1 on the road, travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs, who are the lone undefeated team. 5-0, 2-0 at home are the Kansas City Chiefs. Injuries for the visiting Steelers. Ramon Foster, guard, is questionable. He's the only one listed. For the Chiefs, Steven Terrell, defensive back. Mitch Morse, center. Chris Conley, wide receiver, out. Laurent Duvernay Tardif, guard, and Albert Wilson, wide receiver, are questionable. So you have those offensive line injuries. I thought they would get the better of the Kansas City Chiefs last week. When they went against the Houston Texans, they were able to mitigate them and come away with the victory. Of course, Alex Smith playing very well. Chris Conley is out in this game. I wanted to see him develop as the number 2 receiver behind Tyreek Hill, who was 25 receptions, 356 yards, playing very well. Alex Smith, of course, 37 incompletions on 158 passes, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger has got to spit that bad taste out of his mouth from last week where he had 5 interceptions. He's now got 6 touchdowns to 7 interceptions for the entire season. Not very good, but you take off those 5 interceptions, then it's all right. He has 75 incompletions. That was a terrible game last week, and you look at his numbers, they're still not even that bad. Can they go on the road and get a victory against the Kansas City Chiefs team? I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one simply because I would expect the Chiefs to lose at some point. Pittsburgh was really embarrassed last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I expect them to come out with some force. Antonio Brown is going to be marked up against Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters, though, as we've talked about many times, one of the bigger, more physical cornerbacks. Antonio Brown, kind of a smaller guy, may be able to get around him. I expect it good both ways. Marcus Peters will get his at times. Antonio Brown will get his at times. But I don't think Alex Smith is going to have the game in this one. And Pittsburgh is going to come away with a tough road victory after being embarrassed last week. I like the Steelers 27-24 over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Sunday night game, the New York Giants 0-5, 0-3 on the road, travel to Denver to play the Broncos, who are 3-1, 3-0 at home. Injuries for the visiting Giants. Sterling Shepard, wide receiver. Jonathan Casillas, linebacker. Weston Richburg, center. Romeo Okwara, defensive end, are all out. Landon Collins, the safety, is questionable. For the Denver Broncos, Shane Ray, the pass-rushing linebacker, is an injury reserve, out. Cody Lattimore, the wide receiver, is also out. You look at Sterling Shepard being out for the New York Giants. They're already without Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Marshall for the rest of the season. A lot is going to be put on Eli Manning. They're going to have to try to find some running game in this one simply because the New York Giants don't really have any other answer in this game. They don't have a passing game. Evan Ingram would probably be more involved, but I don't know what the New York Giants are going to do in this game because Denver has a good secondary. They're very tough to play at home. I just see a bad game for the New York Giants. Maybe they'll find some running game, but this could be one of those victories that just completely demoralizes this team and has the Giants just really reeling for the rest of the season. Could put Ben McAdoo on the line. I don't want to get too far involved with that, but this could be a very embarrassing game for the New York Giants playing a tough Denver Broncos team on the road in Denver, which is a tough place to play. Trevor Siemian What will he do against the New York Giants secondary? He's been pretty proficient this year. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, well under 1,000 yards, though, through 4 games, not 5. They've already had their bye week. They're coming off the bye. They're going to handle the New York Giants pretty convincingly in this one. But you never know with an NFL game. It looks on paper that Denver is just going to walk all over New York. You never know. Who knows what will happen with an 0-5 team. But barring some sort of just completely unexpected turn of events, the Denver Broncos are going to handle the New York Giants. I like 27-10 the Denver Broncos over the New York Giants.